a very warm welcome to Forbes India presents D2C Disruptors powered by Smytten, where we will discuss how D2C brands are enhancing new age customer experience in this evolving Indian market. I am your host, Naini Thakur. As we're entering a new era of retail in India, consumers want a lot more than just the product. They're looking to build a relationship with the brand and want the full experience. Customers have always been at the center of any company's objective. But given how competitive every market segment is becoming, customer experience is probably one of the most integral aspects of any business, be it in the offline or the online channel. It is this experience, more than sometimes the product itself, that gives a brand that competitive edge. Hence, it is key for D2C companies to understand what shoppers really want. To discuss this, we're joined by an eminent panel who will provide us with a holistic view on the importance of customer experience and how it can be enhanced. Joining me on this very special panel today is Shankar Prasad, founder and CEO, Plum, Bhaskar Ramesh, director, Omnichannel Businesses, Google, Priyanka Gill, co-founder, The Good Glam Group, Siddhartha Nangia, co-founder, Smytten, Abhijit Awasthi, founder at Sideways Consulting. Let's get started with this very, very interesting discussion that we're about to have. So, Shankar, I'm going to begin with you. What, in your opinion, sort of defines a seamless customer experience?
I think the customer starts engaging with the brand way before he or she buys the product. And from what we have seen and learned and are still learning, the journey starts right from discovering the need for that category to understanding the category a little bit more. So through discovery, understanding, comparison, purchase, post purchase. So the customer experience, in short, has to be consistent across these multiple touch points, and consistent at the brand level, consistent in terms of the ease of discovery and transaction, and consistent pre and post. So I think the seamlessness of the customer experience, therefore, in short, is not limited just around the purchase and delivery cycle. It's all across through discovery right into post purchase feedback and experience.
If I could come to you, Abhijit, and if you can kind of just add to what Shankar just said.
Seamless customer experience, I think, would be one where I get as a customer to discover something that I need or I desire, have the opportunity to find relevant information about the same, get to know more about it, then maybe get to sample the service or the product that is being offered to me, and then of course buy it in a as frictionless a manner as possible. Hopefully I get it easily. Should I have the chance to share my thoughts about it with a certain community of people, I think that would be amazing. And then of course post sales would be fabulous as well. So if all this is frictionless, I think it's a great seamless experience.
Priyanka, you lead the Good Media Co, right? Which is one of the major segments of the Good Glam Group today. And on a regular basis, you're interacting with customers. Tell us, what are some of the very interesting emerging trends that you're noticing and you're seeing amongst the Indian consumer, and how have their behavior changed over the last couple of years?
So, it's very interesting to observe consumer behavior, and we've been doing that for almost a decade right now, first at PopExo and now at the Good Media Co. and at the Good Glam Group. So one of the first things is that she is looking for information all the time, and she's looking for information everywhere, right? Which basically means that her consumer journey kind of either starts with her desiring something, or starts with her seeing an influencer talk about or use a product, or it starts with her reading about a product. So for all brands, how they are portrayed in social media, how they're portrayed in digital media is actually very, very important. It's not just the direct brand placements that we talk about, it's also the ancillary placements as to how other people are talking about the brand as well. All brands take care of it, and they should be taking care of how their brand is actually positioned either by them or by other people. The second part is that the Indian consumer is very, very vocal, and her ambitions and her desires and wants are actually global at many, many levels, right? She has access to the whole world's kind of bounty of information, all the products in the world, all the best practices, or the goods and the bads of every product. She's a very, very demanding customer in that sense. And especially when you're looking at the beauty space, which is obviously what we focus on a lot, she really is looking at kind of, she wants a beauty to be clean beauty. She doesn't want any nasty products in there. So it's a very, very demanding customer. And I think the third part to understand from global consumer behavior is she's a very vocal customer, right? So making sure that she has a very good customer experience is critical for every brand, because if she does not have a great customer experience, she will talk about it. So looking at the customer as a whole entity, understanding where he or she is spending their time online, which channels are they spending their time on, how are they discovering new products, which influencers are they working with, all of those things become very important for a brand in today's day and age, especially a D2C brand, to be thinking about building a holistic customer experience. And I guess the last point to add to this is she is a whole person, right? So she shops online, she spends time on social media, she's browsing, she's also going to her local markets, she's going to the kirana store, she's going to the mall. So having an omni-channel customer experience I mean, it's table stakes these days, right? Obviously, we have our DTC platforms where we sell our product. We have all the social media channels and media platforms where we talk about our products, but we also have offline points of sale, right? Around 60,000 offline points of sale that are spread all over India, where customers can go and touch and feel and interact with the products in real time. Even there, it becomes important to kind of seamlessly put together the offline and the online experience, right? So you go there, we know who you are, we have your, say, a phone number, you get a message from us saying, hey, we know you bought this product. Why did you watch this video online to see how you like the product, how you should use the product, right? So kind of maintaining that seamlessness all the way through. I mean, I guess that the omnichannel experience is from customers. Brands should be looking at that.
Siddharth, Smytten works very, very closely with D2C brands regularly. How are D2C brands today creating that brand awareness and nurturing their user engagement for optimized customer acquisition? And, are there any new interesting strategies that you've noticed?
Acquiring customers, that's one of the biggest challenges any brand faces. And one of the ways to acquire consumers has always been through the social media, and also O2O, which is offline to online, that is becoming bigger to do. But and typical, as also Shankar was talking about earlier, the engagement doesn't start from the time we think of it. It starts much earlier. So brand has to be on the toes from day one. And as I said always to my team out here, so what I see brands doing more regularly now is, yes, not just helping getting brands from the social media, but also taking care of every step that a customer takes on the platform, and the corresponding offering that we are giving it to them, the corresponding experience we're giving to them. Extra care is taken in that. So that has been there for a while, I would say. But the latest thing which I'm seeing, especially evolving over the last 6 to 9 months, how AI is starting to play a role. It is about how predicting almost what consumer is going to do. So rather than being reactive, you're being more proactive in doing it. So one is acquisition, other is retention. Retention part of it is another ball game altogether, for which you need a separate talent altogether. And slowly but steadily, the talent is coming into the country and evolving as well, I would say, which is only going to help the brands going forward.
Bhaskar, what is the role of online communication and social media platforms in enabling customer growth and building a brand's image today?
I think brand building and the fundamentals of brand building do not change, whether it is in the old world or in the digital first world that we all live in. From our vantage point, I think the successes, I think the real heroes are in the same room, whether it is Plum or whether it is the Good Glam set of brands or Smytten. They are completely digital first kind of a brands, right? It all starts with having a great product, a great proposition, availability, and all of it can actually be done in digital. In the earlier age, I think to build a brand to 100 crores or 200 crores, it used to take like 3 to 4 years to get there, and equal amount of money. And thanks to digital, most of these brands are actually hitting 50 crore, 100 crore mark in less than a year and 2 years these days. The whole full funnel, which is driving awareness, driving consideration, driving action, all of it is actually can be done on digital. So Digital is not necessarily a media or a marketing channel for most of these brands. Digital or social media, whatever names you call it, it truly a business channel when it comes to brand building for D2Cs. And the second point I want to stress upon is what Priyanka and both Siddharth has mentioned. Omni-channel has actually become a consumer expectation, not just a competitive advantage anymore. In one of the studies that we had done with Forrester, uh, post-COVID, almost 93% of all digital users have moved on to omni-channel experiences as a basic expectation, while only 40% of businesses and brands are actually providing it in some semblance. So I think an optimum and a full use of digital is if you're able to solve for this convergence of digital meets physical. And I think brand building fundamentally not just need to solve for awareness or imagery, but also need to solve for discovery and delivery for D2Cs.
Shankar, coming back to you, how does a D2C brand, given the fact that sort of you build Plum, which is today one of the largest D2C brands in India, how do you achieve balance between providing, the best quality products and also giving an equally good experience to, your customers? And I do know that, it's not either or, but if you can still tell us how difficult or how challenging is it to achieve this balance really?
Firstly, I don't think brands can choose. Brands have to do both, particularly brands which are D2C heavy, such as us, or brands that the Good Glam Group has, or Smytten for that matter. Uh, you and we've seen this happen. We've seen both. Unfortunately, we've seen both extremes: good experience, bad experience, and the sort of impact it has on the consumer's relationship with the brand. The way I see it is product quality, delivery, consistency is a must have. You may acquire a customer first time through marketing, but you will retain him or her only with product. And retention is, as we all know, holy grail. And therefore, product is a must to have, and is something that it's a changing goalpost also as the market evolves and consumer needs evolve. Customer experience, on the other hand, you have a spectrum of things possible, from outright outrageous to extremely delightful. And I think as a brand, especially as a D2C brand who's trying to make their name by reaching out to consumers online, I can't say that, I'm product focused, but, the experience is something that's not in my hands. The delivery partner messed it up, or some tech partner messed it up. So you have to go all out. We are all selling, most of us are selling things that they have choices for in the market. And if they're going to buy your brand, they might as well have a more holistic, good things to say about your brand, as opposed to just saying, okay, I like the product, but their deliveries or their customer experience or post sales support is terrible. So therefore, I think I would say it is not a balance to be maintained. It is almost mandatory to do both. You have to solve for both.
Siddharth, coming back to you, when earlier you did speak about the role of data and analytics and AI and how important it is to Smytten. Talk to us about what is the role of big data analytics for a D2C brand in the Indian market today?
Our holy grail is data. That's what we are sitting on, and that's what we see day in and day out. Few years back, I would have said it was next to impossible to predict what a consumer is going to do and how a consumer is thinking. Cut down to today, we can literally predict the future basket of the consumer. That kind of a transition which has happened. And if you start looking from a brand lens, and all the brands, all the D2C brands, whether 900 brands, 1,000 brands, at the end of the day, are trying to reach out to a similar spectrum of consumers. And now for them to differentiate that and take out the real consumer out of it, who can be in future grow the brand, help them to grow the brand as well. They need to know their consumer in and out, because customer acquisition is one of the things there we're going to spend the maximum amount of money. And for that to optimize, the one thing that's going to play the biggest role is how that consumer is behaving, what he or she is looking for, what is the kind of problems he's or she facing that needs some solution. So right from new product development, so that right from searches, what consumer is searching for, what kind of products that consumer should ideally go to the market, to the point of what customer is thinking about the product, or after having experienced it, what kind of feedback are they getting at. So all of that has to come together. Literally in the data, you can look at consumer coming in, discovering it, experiencing it, the product, if it goes all the way till the purchase, and if there are abundant carts, why that is happening. All of that, every data point that you get about a consumer teaches the brand something. More importantly, helps the brand to save money and also help them to grow. That's the power of data. And good part of the story is that enough tools are now available and algorithms are being developed as we go along this journey, which can help brands to grow. As I see it right now, probably 6x or 7x than what they have seen in the past 7 or 6 or 7 years as well. That's what the things will evolve. That's what things will happen. And that's another reason why I think even brands are focusing a lot more on their own sites, because they want to own the data and they want to learn from the data side of it.
How are marketing and advertising organizations helping D2C brands reach the right mix of customers and further enhancing brand growth and brand recognition for better revenue and increased sales? Abhijit, if you can probably take this one.
If you ask me honestly, the role of a marketing or an advertising agency hasn't changed much. Okay, we are still business partners. The idea is to help the D2C brand find its right voice. Figure out the exact task that they want to achieve. What's the core strategic positioning of the brand, bring it alive in different creative assets, help them, if I can say, guide them in balancing how much should be done on the brand building side, how much on the performance marketing side, because that is something that many D2C brands do make a mistake. They do end up going overboard on the performance side, and they don't give due respect to the brand building aspect of life. A true partner can help guide them really well besides specific tasks. How to leverage different assets, I think, again, is something which marketing and advertising agencies can help the D2C brands with. For example, this whole influencer marketing piece is taking off a lot. Many brands do rely on it, but I think they have to be used strategically, because at the end of the day, every influencer is going to be speaking in his or her voice. It's not the brand's voice. So how to control that? How best to leverage the influencer for the brand? I think all these are various areas in which marketing and advertising agencies can partner D2C brands. Basically, in the noise, simplify things for them, guide them, and make sure that whatever they're doing is strategically and creatively sound.
Bhaskar, coming back to you, how are D2C brands maximizing every touch point in their customer experience journey? We did speak a little about omni-channel and the importance of both offline as well as online. But if you can really tell us, how do D2C brands maximize every touch point?
So first things first, I look at it as a more of a pyramid, right? When it comes to optimizing for omni-channel experiences, at a very fundamental level, let's assume you have your own owned and operated stores. Driving the discoverability of your stores and having your inventory purely visible, right, across platforms, on search platforms, social platforms, on creator platforms, right? Like, I think that is very important, right? Having your stores online is important because it solves for user discovery. The reason being, today digital consumers are not coming to digital to look for what to buy. They are also coming they are also asking where to buy, right? And that is important choice to give to the user to have a seamless customer experience. And the second thing is ability to drive all your traffic which you are generating digitally through majority of your campaigns, so that you are driving the customer depending upon the profile of the customer, either to your .com or to the store, and having that ability to kind of measure footfalls, walk-ins, conversions, right? And having that lens is important. And I know a lot of smartphone OEMs and increasingly a lot of D2C brands are actually looking at D2C as a combination of brand.com and their owned and operated stores, right? Looking at together. And the reason is very simple, right? Your consumers are your customers are your best marketing channel. And when you have a lot of first party data, it acts as a real catalyst and a fuel for your growth, and drives better efficiencies and better ROI. And at the top of the funnel, as I see, is clearly the investments in brand.coms and hyperlocal commerce capabilities, or platforms like Smytten, who are actually coming up with sampling capabilities based on data. So combination of all of them will make it a lot more seamless, holistic consumer experience, and in an end-to-end way. So the consumer has a choice where to discover, and no matter where he or she discovers, and where the transaction culminates, there is a seamless experience for the brand that you need to build in.
Right, that's an excellent point that you make. Priyanka, I mean, of course, the Good Glam Group has both segments to it today, given the fact that it's a content to commerce company. You have the D2C brands, which includes, brands as big as My Glam. And of course, there are, media houses that are part of the company today, including PopExo, Scoop Whoop, and a lot more. For a D2C brand like, say, My Glam, which is part of the Glam Group, how important is this customer data that you're providing them? And how do you use technology to help them innovate in terms of, coming up with products as well? If you can tell us with a couple of examples.
At the Good Glam Group, we are looking at, if you're looking at the funnel that we have for ourselves, right? So at the top of the funnel, as previously mentioned, lies user acquisition. How are we acquiring users? And for that, we're using our Good Media Co platforms like PopExo, Scoop, Whoop, Miss Malini, Baby Chakra to be our top of the funnel. Today, we reach 200 million users, which is close to like half the digital audience that is there in India right now. So using that kind of very large top of the funnel through content, we are able to talk to our customers about a lot of things that are happening or they're interested in, but also about our good brands, right? My Glam, Saint Botanica, Organic Harvest, Momsco. So being able to organically talk about brands that the Good Glam Group owns through our good media channels is actually key to the Good Glam story and key to our kind of our strategy that we are following. All these interactions, it's around 3 billion odd events that we track every month on customers, right? All of those become very, very rich data points for us to understand what is she reading, what is she watching, which influencer is she interested in, what products does she want, what are her challenges, and also helps us build cohorts of similar customers. If a customer, if she's about to get married or if she's about to attend a wedding and she's so old and she's living in a certain part of the country, she will have her likes in other parts as well. And if you're able to see the products that she wants, you're able to also see what customers like her would want as well. So being able to build these intelligent cohorts is very, very important. And most importantly, using the power of content and using the power of creators through our Good Creator Co to really understand what does the customer want and being able to actually create products based on customer demand. So really using the power of content, using the power of creators and the power of data to really understand what the customer is wanting, creating those products for her, and then similarly using the same channels through which you got those information pieces and going back and communicating the marketing strategy and the kind of the benefits of the product and constantly staying in communication with her. And also it's really important, I guess, to own the channels of communication, right? So here, I mean, while kind of our friends at Google and Facebook, all of them, they're very, very important partners for us to reach out to customers. But the more you can reach out to the customer yourself, the stronger your relationship with the customer becomes.
Abhijit, how do D2C brands ensure using the right mix of technology for customer data and then using it effectively for personalization and further growth?
Like I mentioned, today data can provide so much insight about the user that the D2C brand can either offer the exact solution if they have it already with them, or make it specially for that particular user, because these are people who don't do any mass production. They build it very specifically based on the need of the customer. Earlier, what used to happen is people would say that, okay, I need something for a particular kind of hair, a particular kind of skin, and this level of personalization was not possible. But I think because of the various elements that engagement with directly with customers provide, I think D2C brands have the possibility of building niche batches and sort of giving it to people. The other bit is, I think, more than, there are times people have very specific needs, not just from the product but even from the service. I think even something which has become so common now, which is helping people financially to for fulfillment. I think those little offerings are something that D2C brands can also give. So the possibility is endless, honestly.
Right, right. That's very interesting. Siddharth, what do young D2C brands today have, especially in terms of customer experience, that traditional FMCG brands probably have not done over the past few years?
Right. See, old FMCG brands had been ruling the market so far, but the young D2C brands, as I always say, is the cubs about to become lions, about to disrupt the retail industry. Lot of things are changing out here. A lot of things are evolving very, very fast. One thing which many brands are already doing it, and all new age brands must do it, is how to learn from consumers fast and also react to that. React in a positive way. I'm saying from a learning perspective. And this has become a lot more possible now because social is out there. Consumers are ready to engage with you through different channels, either through chat or as a feedback on the products. And these brands, as I said earlier, some doing it, many more to follow. I'm sure they will do it. Whatever consumer is telling you, there is something in it that can be extremely useful. There'll be some noise, could be 30-40% of it that people can easily avoid. But for the rest, 60-65%, what that is coming from the consumer to us, it will only help brands to improve and grow. And that is the most important point. We have to create brand ambassadors, and we have to create people who can be our retainers as you go along.
Thank you all so much for your time today. It has been an absolute pleasure speaking to all of you. And I think with this, we have come to the end of this session. As much as we would have liked to keep going and keep this very insightful conversation going. But before we end this session completely, this is for the audience. If you are a D2C brand and have been disrupting the space with your innovation and commitment towards your customers, then do send in your entries for our Forbes India Presents D2C Disruptor Awards powered by Smytten. Well, as India is becoming a mega market with over 1.3 billion potential customers from diverse cultures and regions, the country has become one of the largest global retail destinations, and it's expected to cross a market size of 1.7 trillion by 2025. As a result, D2C channels in India are also growing in sync and are expected to be worth over $100 billion by 2025. With such a growth, India is surely poised to be the next leader. This is your host, Naini Thakur, signing off. Thanks for watching Forbes India Presents D2C Disruptors powered by Smytten.